Welcome back, guys. We are gonna go live with another 1 hour infrared sauna session in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid. So this is a fun series we've been getting into. We're gonna show you kind of tips and tricks and just what my typical infrared sauna session looks like. So one thing I wanna just jump into is few key features that are gonna really separate a low quality and then a high quality infrared sauna out there. So one of them is just the materials used. So obviously you wanna make sure you're a reputable company, which Good Health Saunas, 20 plus years in business, thousands of 5-star reviews on all the major platforms. But then the materials used as far as real lumber are super, super important. So those lower quality units really just cut corners. And what they are is they're built for a certain price point. So if you guys are joining, let me know where you're watching from. If you've used an infrared sauna before, if you're curious about getting one, if you have one already, we'd love to hear from you. So like I said, this is my 1 hour typical infrared sauna session. Gonna go through a couple tips and tricks as far as jumping in around body temperature, so 100 to 110 degrees. And I can do that because, again, that solid lumber construction, really quick heat up time with the amount of heaters in the unit. But because it is solid lumber, it's not gonna take forever to heat up. So if it was like particle board on the back, plywood bottom, or even just all plywood particle board construction, it's gonna take a lot longer to heat up, maybe not even get up to those higher temperatures if the actual lumber construction isn't solid on the joinery or just on the attach points. It's gonna just let a lot of ambient heat escape. So making sure it's solid lumber construction with good craftsmanship is super, super important. Hemlock is the best wood type for an infrared sauna. So we get asked that question a lot too. So hemlock being hyperallergenic doesn't have a lot of oil content. So if you've ever used like a traditional sauna, or especially when we're traveling at like home shows and fairs going all over the country, we'll go to different gyms, just local saunas. And don't get me wrong, some of the newer ones are nice, but there are some that have been there for a long time. They don't get much maintenance, and even if they do, they'll put that fresh lumber in it. If you walk in there and you get hit with that heavy smell of cedar, anyone with like sensitive skin or allergies can really get impacted. So having just the FSC certified Canadian hemlock, hyperallergenic wood, really doesn't affect anyone with sensitive skin or allergies. The hybrid series is nice too because you do get a little essential oil tray. You can still use essential oils in our signature series where you can kind of add that aromatherapy, eucalyptus, citrus, lavender, so kind of personal preference with those. For me, I don't really like the essential oils, but if you're someone who really likes that aromatherapy aspect, having something where you can just, again, nice quick heat up time, doesn't have that really heavy cedar smell or just any other lumber smell coming from the interior, or again, if it's particle board or pressed wood, wouldn't even smell like real lumber. But having that hyperallergenic wood, that's gonna be really nice to actually not have to worry about that heavy overpowering cedar smell. And then you can go in there and you can kind of customize your smells a little bit more as far as you're not always gonna have to just deal with cedar. If you wanna have just no smell, or if you wanna have no scent, if you wanna have lavender, citrus, or what have you. And so it looks like we got a question. Love ours, that is awesome. Do you recommend a sauna hat? So not in an infrared sauna. If you are gonna use like a traditional sauna, it's gonna be getting to those higher ambient air temperatures. You might wanna wear some head covering. With an infrared sauna, it's more radiant heat. So being that radiant heat, only 20% of that ambient air temperature is getting hot. So that's why, again, you can actually take a deep breath and it's not drying out your hair, it's not drying out your eyes, it's not drying out your nose. So you don't have to necessarily wear anything on your hair by any means. And if you were going in a traditional sauna, let's say like 180, 200 degree plus, where that's just that ambient hot air temperature, then you gotta worry about drying out your hair, eyes, nose, and things like that. So good question. That's, again, one of the really nice parts about using an infrared sauna. And even in this hybrid series where I can set it up to 165, which I'd be curious, Renee, do you have Good Health Saunas? It sounds like you do. Do you have hybrid series or signature, and how long have you had it for? But I'm going in the Good Health Sauna Corner Hybrid, so you can set this one up to 165. One of my favorite features is just going up to those higher temperatures is gonna simulate that traditional sauna feel. And don't get me wrong, our signature series, that still kicks my butt, going only up to 150, but infrared's that radiant heat. So it's not necessarily about that ambient air temperature. the more important thing is raising that core temp. So how quick can you raise that core temperature? That's just how many heating elements are covering you throughout the entire unit. So again, the lumber construction is super important, but making sure it has 360-degree heaters. And that's something that I always preach about, guys, is you can only see the back heaters in the unit right now, but if you want to jump on just a quick virtual tour with any of our reps, it will show you a 360-degree unit or 360-degree viewpoint of the unit with the amount of heaters. And so no matter who you get one from and no matter which one you get from us, it's gonna have 360-degree heat. So nice quick heat up time, but then no cold spots throughout the unit. So those are just something, or those are really key factors to consider. Again, and something that we hear from people is, I was jotting some things down before this one today, and Renee, we did get ours from yours, or we did get ours from you guys. That's awesome, Renee. How long have you had it for? And which unit do you have? Did you get it at one of our events, or did you just get it online? Stop into one of our storefronts maybe? And so one thing, or a couple things that I've just heard from people in my time in the industry, especially when they've had their sauna for a while, and from someone who gets to deal with these units hands-on every single day, is one thing is less glass in the front. Even though that may look nice on the picture and you may think it may look nice when you're sitting inside it, when you're actually looking to get the medical benefits, not having any front heating elements is just gonna make the unit take forever to heat up. Anyone with knee pain or just those lower extremities, you're not getting enough infrared coverage. And so those infrared heaters are what's actually, again, getting down to that cellular level. So how it's different from just that traditional sauna where it's all, again, heating that ambient air temperature up. So those infrared heaters getting down to that cellular level, helping repair damaged DNA, that's why you need to have 360 degrees. So floor heat, front heaters, and then you want to obviously have a couple nice things, like I mentioned, the essential oil tray in the hybrid series, or all of them have Bluetooth speakers, so audiobooks, podcasts, music, anything like that. And so another thing is an in-unit control panel. When you're inside the unit, and you guys see me do it all the time, I'll make sure the temperature's up, I'll make sure I'll be playing around with the time. I'm obviously keeping track on my Apple Watch, but still being able to control the unit from the inside is almost a necessity. Because if it just has an exterior control panel, how annoying would it be if every time you want to do something, or if you want to check the timer on it, it's just got the control panel on the outside? Or same thing if it doesn't have a control panel, if it's just on your phone, where you're not going to want to always have to have your phone, especially when you're inside the sauna, you're sweating. Having that built-in control panel is a really, really understated feature. And so another big thing is making sure it's low EMF. And so one of the big things we pride ourselves on here at Good Health Saunas is that third-party safety certification and testing. So one of them being that ultra-low EMF ELF rating. And so that's all third-party tested. We post those test results right to our website, and so we are as transparent as we possibly can, guys. That's something you're not going to see in this industry from an entire company. You may see it from an individual influencer where they're just pumping that same marketing and advertising campaign the company has, but to be as transparent from an entire company-wide standpoint, that's something that's really hard to find, especially in this industry. So that's why we always encourage you guys, just ask any questions in this live. If you want to talk to us one-on-one, we're more than happy to walk you through all of our different options, kind of show you what separates the lower quality ones from the higher quality units in the industry. And I mean, really this hybrid series, head and shoulders above the rest, guys. So staying super, super hydrated. Again, super, super important, guys. For me, drinking water before, during, and then obviously after. And so another really important feature is that heat up time. We kind of mentioned that before. But if it doesn't have enough heaters, or if it only has a few heating elements around your back, it's going to take 45 hours long to heat up. And everyone has such a busy life nowadays, you're not going to want to wait for an hour, 2 hours to let something heat up. And I talk to people all the time who are thinking about maybe outside or exterior saunas where, don't get me wrong, that sounds nice, but in those cold winter months, are you really going to wait hour, maybe 2 hours to heat it up? And that's even before we've thought about getting like 220 line out there, digging it, trenching it, the maintenance aspect of just heating up and cooling down in those max frigid temperatures, going up to those high temperatures. And so again, they sound nice exterior, jumping into the cold snow, but when push comes to shove, when you're looking for something for daily therapeutic use, when it's in the comfort of your own home, has a nice quick heat up time, you're gonna use it a lot more. Thus, we're getting a lot more of those medical benefits. And so those are all things we hear from people quite a bit. Another one is just more space. You guys see me jumping in the corner unit all the time. I really like the corner unit just because, again, you get this L-shaped bench, tucks right into the corner of the room here, so it doesn't take up our entire space, but we still get the big L shape where I can kick my legs out on the bench. I'm being about like 6'1", 6'2" with shoes on, plenty enough room where I'm not feeling crammed in or claustrophobic. And so if you have enough space, use the space. You're gonna really enjoy it in the long run, where if you are thinking, if it's just gonna be me, one, maybe two people at a time, tend to go a little bit larger in the sizing, especially if you have the space, guys. If it's something where you maybe only have something for a 1 or 2 person, don't get me wrong, having something that is still built solid with enough heating elements, even in those smaller blueprints, is still super, super important. And so those are just a couple things right off the gate. We should probably turn the unit on because we haven't even done that, but typically about 15 minutes on that heat up time. So we're starting out at room temperature. It is roughly gonna be about like 70-ish degrees in here. We're gonna let the unit get up to about 100, 110 degrees. That's around that core body temperature, and then I can heat up with the unit. And so that's a lot different than if I was, let's say, going to like the traditional sauna, or if I was going to like a spa where they got a steam room. So that traditional sauna, that's either gonna be running 24/7 or they turn that thing on at 4 a.m. and let it run all day long. Now that traditional sauna is, again, just heating up that ambient air temperature. And so that temp gauge may say 180, 200 degrees in the top of the room, but if you take it down towards the bottom, probably gonna be a 20, 30 degree, maybe even 40 degree temperature difference if you got 2 tiers. And so with an infrared sauna, it's not necessarily about that ambient air temperature. It's more so making sure those heating elements are actually producing medical grade infrared your body can absorb. And so raising that core temperature, again, is super important, but if those infrared heaters aren't placed properly, if it's not covering my body entirely, I'm not absorbing all and maximum amount of infrared, so it's not gonna help the vasodilation of the blood vessels. It's not gonna allow for maximum circulation throughout my entire body. So again, throughout those lower extremities, throughout just extremities as far as circulatory benefits with your hands and feet. And so tons and tons of little details, guys, that really add up in the long run. And so for me, those are just a couple things that I've noticed. Like I said, talking with people, one of the things I always preach about too is just that built-in floor heat. Underrated aspect, depending if you're on your feet a lot for work, especially when we're working at shows or fairs where we'll be on our feet 5, 6, 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, 5, 6 days straight. So it really boils down to how you're gonna use the sauna, what you're looking to get it for, or what you're looking to get from it, and then building it into your schedule. And so again, for me, using it consistently is gonna benefit me and everyone more than just using it once or twice a month. So consistency beats intensity. If you're just joining, welcome. Golden, Freddie, Rich, welcome. D, welcome. Oh, we got a lot of people joining. So thanks for watching, guys. If you just are joining, let me know where you're watching from. If you have an infrared sauna or if you're thinking about getting one, just let me know. Drop a comment down in the chat. Gazdecki, welcome. And so we are, again, doing the 1 hour live stream in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid. We just turned the unit on shortly. It's already up to about 90 degrees. We can get in around, again, that 100, 110 degrees, close to that core body temperature. We're going over a couple key things that we've just seen with talking with customers throughout our time in the industry. And one of the big things that is coming up here is just Father's Day. So for all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. And one of the big things we were talking about is using the sauna consistently. And even in these warmer kind of summer months where you may not necessarily be thinking jumping in the sauna is the first thing on your mind, having the ability to regulate your body. And what I mean by that is going in kind of a higher heat type environment, it's simulating a stress-like response. So if you've ever been sitting at work, super stressed out, you can feel your nervous system tensing up. What's happening is you're simulating that inside the sauna on a much more mild level. So you're regulating your body for those stressful type situations, and you're helping your body regulate those stress levels and those hormones. So tons of benefits to year-round sweating, and so it's going to help you sweat a little bit faster. It's going to help you cool off quicker because, again, you're helping regulate your body. And so tons of benefits to year-round sweating, guys. And for all the fathers that may be stressed out, especially in these summer months, I know all those sports started up. We got soccer, baseball, all those fun activities that you want to be around for, you want to keep going, you want to be present for. Having something, again, in the comfort of your own home where you can heat it up super quick, jump in, nice peaceful music, meditation, podcast, whatever you want, and then know you're getting a lot more benefits than just sitting in that high heat as far as the detox, so pulling out those heavy metals, those toxins, those carcinogens, tons and tons of long-term health benefits, reducing your risk for Alzheimer's, dementia, cardiovascular risk by up to 50%. So those are all the reasons where, again, people are looking at it as an infrared sauna as a health tool. It's definitely an investment, but for something that is adding years on your life, it's well worth it, and it's a lot cheaper than medical bills out there. So thanks for joining, Steve. Scott, thanks for joining. CN Gazdecki tuning in from Bozeman, Montana. And again, guys, if you're just joining us, we are doing a 1-hour live session in the infrared sauna. This is a Good Health Saunas Corner hybrid unit. And so you can set it up to 165. I turned it on roughly 5-10 minutes ago. Unit's already out about 100 degrees, so I can jump in shortly here, and I'm gonna heat up with it. And that's a lot different than just like that traditional sauna at the gym. And so, especially when I'm looking for that everyday use, not only having something where I can heat it up super quick, but I can actually use and enjoy it every day. Where someone asked earlier, do I have to wear a sauna hat, or do you recommend wearing a sauna hat in it? If I was using that traditional sauna in that high abrasive heat, that's gonna be much more of a beat up on my body, especially kind of like I said, the hair drying it out with your eyes, your nose, your mouth. And so even having something where it's a little less of an air temperature heat, but you're still getting a lot more cellular benefit, it adds up in the long run when you're thinking of that daily usage. And especially for someone who's got like a heart condition where they may have to be careful in like a traditional sauna, steam room, you're gonna get a lot more benefits than not using a sauna, but definitely with an infrared sauna than, again, just not using a sauna, steam room, or anything like that at all. And so we gotta jump in shortly here. We've covered a bunch of great things, and one of the last ones I wanted to touch on was just when you are looking for an infrared sauna full spectrum, you want to make sure you are getting a full spectrum sauna. And everyone kind of asks, what does that mean? And so when you're looking at, we had mentioned the heaters before, so 360 degree heaters is important, but what type of heating elements? That's a good question to ask too. And that's when you're kind of getting, again, deeper in the industry. If you've had your unit before, or if you've had your unit for a while, if you kind of thought about getting another one, if you've moved and maybe have used one before and are now really looking to get one for yourself, those little details as far as what type of heating elements are gonna add up. And so with a full spectrum infrared sauna, that's gonna be a 2-tier heating system. So you guys can always see the carbon heating elements wrapping around the body, but then you also get the ceramic heaters. And so the ceramic heaters in this hybrid series are upgraded from just our signature. That's what allows it to get hotter, get up to those higher temperatures, simulates that traditional sauna feel, but then also gives you the full spectrum. So not only having the carbon heaters, which again are gonna evenly distribute the heat, you have the ceramic heaters, which allow it to get up to those higher temperatures, and they actually heat up a little bit quicker too. So you kind of get the best of both worlds compared to just having the 1-tier heating system where, again, the carbon heaters are nice to evenly distribute the heat. They do take a little bit longer to heat up and can't get up to those higher temperatures. So units at about 105. We are going to be jumping in here shortly, guys. And we got A. Hendricks joining as well. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. If you have an infrared sauna, let me know what you think of it. If you've used one before, if it's just something you've heard of and maybe you've read about it and you're curious, this is a great spot to be because we're showing you what a live session can look like from start to finish, jumping in at the body temperature, doing a full 20, 30, 45 minutes. I typically do maybe up to like 50, 55 minutes. And that deep cardiovascular workout, you'll see my heart rate get up into the 130s, 140s, maybe even the 150s. So again, simulating a passive cardiovascular workout. It's like doing that 45-minute workout on the treadmill, but I know I'm not going to be as stiff and I'm not going to be sore tomorrow. So tons of benefits. We got to jump in here. So give us one quick second and we are going to meet you guys in. I forgot my All right, welcome back, guys. We are now just officially starting the 1 hour live session. Let me know if the audio sounds good. Let me know if the video looks good. And if you have any questions, always drop those down below. So we're kicking it off. Again, jumping in around 100, 110 degrees. So lower ambient air temperature. I can still feel heat coming from all of these heating elements. And we get asked a lot, what does an infrared sauna typically feel like? And it's, again, gonna feel like that traditional sauna. It's still gonna have some ambient air temperature heat, but when you're actually starting out, it's not that take my breath away. I didn't walk in and immediately get hit with that hot abrasive air temperature. It's not burning my nose. And so, again, having something where you can, again, slowly heat up with it, you're not putting that really abrasive high heat on your body, you're getting a lot more of those benefits. So unit, again, is around the body temperature. We're going to go for about an hour-long session. We were talking about how the sauna is really good for stress regulation, and that's something that I've really noticed. As far as I mentioned, when you're using a sauna, you're putting your body in a mild stress-like state. When you're in your daily life and you're dealing with just stressors throughout the day, whether that's work, relationships, social, financial, any of those stressors, when you have something that's your natural recovery mode and you can actually go in there, just put your body in a much more meditated state, it's something that you can really look forward to compared to having, like I said, a little bit more of those kind of bad habits per se. So having just something where you look forward to using it, you know it's beneficial. Like I said, it's definitely an investment in your health, but it's a tool that you can have in your tool belt when you're not worrying about, is this thing gonna break down? Is it not gonna work? Am I looking too hard at it? Those are all things that we try and take out of the equation for you, because like I said, we deal with these units hands-on every day. So when you are looking online, I know it can be kind of overwhelming with all the information out there. And so with us, we've truly broken it down to making sure they're the safest, the most efficient, the most effective infrared saunas. They're bulletproof construction with solid lumber design, and then we back it with that third-party testing. So what does that really mean? That third-party testing, as far as like a VOC air quality report, that's going to mean nothing off-gases into the unit. And so what is off-gassing? When like particle board, plywood, and just anything that isn't solid lumber is used in the construction of the sauna, when it's heating up, that can off-gas into the unit. When it off-gases into the unit, that gets into you. defeats the whole purpose of the sauna. So then what we do to ensure that all Good Health Saunas aren't using plywood particle board, we have IAQ diagnostics come out, take air samples from inside fully functional, fully operational units. They send those air samples to the lab, they test them, and they ensure nothing off gases. And that's because it's all real lumber. So you got to make sure, again, that's in the floorboard, the back wall. If you can't see it on the picture on the screen, you might want to make sure what they're using on the parts you can't see. And so with especially an investment in your health, doing your due diligence with the safety certification, the testing, having things like the EMF reports, so electromagnetic fields, everything that uses electricity, like my smartwatch, the phones in our pockets, are all producing EMF levels. You just don't want to be exposed to high levels for an extended amount of time. And now, what are high levels? And so high levels are anywhere above, I think it's 10 to 15, and you don't want to be exposed to high levels of over 50 for an extended amount of time. And so typically phones can go anywhere from 10 to 20, maybe larger electronics will go higher than that. Lower quality infrared saunas can expose you to anywhere from 50 to 400 megagauss of EMFs, and that's considered extremely high. And when you're looking at, again, using something consistently, and whether that's daily, multiple times, 3, 4, 5 times a week, you don't want to be putting yourself in any type of situation where you're exposing yourself to harmful EMF levels. Now, there aren't necessarily any real proven concrete studies with negative connotation towards just regular generic EMF levels. Typically they're all towards very high voltage kind of electrical grids, but you still don't want to be exposing yourself. So having ultra low EMF, that's third party tested by Vitatech Electromagnetics. So their main purpose is testing EMF levels on schools, offices, churches. They come out, they test fully functional, fully operational units, not just one heating element that was shipped off to the lab. Fully functional, fully operational units ensure that it's all ultra low EMF. So that's all under 2 megagauss. So that's considered extremely low. So that's less than the smartwatch, the phones in our pockets are putting off. And so those are all really key details that you want to look at. Marcy9, thanks for joining. Hendrix joining. Steve, thanks for joining. Scott, thanks for joining. And we are about 5 minutes into our 1 hour infrared sauna session. We're going over a few key details as far as what we've heard from people who've had their sauna for a while, if they could do it all over again, some of the things they thought about and really would like to have in their next sauna. So one of them being the 360 degree heat, so not all glass fronts. They may look nice, but then again, that solid lumber construction. And so if you're looking at just infrared saunas and you go online, you type in infrared sauna, it's going to blow your mind away with how many options pop up. And you're going to see them from 1,500 all the way up to 15,000. And now what separates, and you may start like everyone does at that $1,500 range, thinking that you can find something that's going to suit your needs for kind of that lower cost option. And I was the same way, and typically that's kind of how everyone starts out with everything. If you've ever looked at getting a phone, maybe from the first time those came out, where Apple wasn't necessarily the lowest cost option, but when long-term use came into play, user friendliness, customer service, Apple really took over. And so that's what you're going to see in the infrared sauna industry, is companies, and especially Good Health Saunas, who, like I said, is transparent as they possibly can, provides that lifetime warranty with almost the best, if not the best, customer service that I've seen from any company I've ever experienced or ever had to deal with. But having, like I said, a bulletproof sauna where it isn't using lower quality materials, when you're starting out and you see the $1,500 price tag, it may look appealing, but when you sit in it and you realize this is the bench you're going to have to sit on, and you're hoping to sit on for a year, maybe, and if not longer, if it's solid lumber, you should be able to. But that bench that's maybe about an inch or so, 1/8 of an inch thick, 3/8 of an inch thick, that's not going to hold up to the test of time. So making sure you have, again, solid lumber construction, that's not only good for the longevity of the unit, that's probably more detrimental for your health, or I should say more impactful for your overall health, to making sure you aren't being more detrimental. So when you're looking to invest any type of money, look at the safety certification, the testing, the warranty, the reputation, real customer reviews. And if you just started out, I know that $15,000, $20,000, $3,000 price tag may look good, but that's often what it is it's just built for that certain price point. You're cutting corners, you're sacrificing crucial elements as far as just heater configuration, heater design. Overall comfort is another one too. Having something where you're not going to enjoy using it if you feel like there's a giant cold spot in the front, or if it just takes forever to heat up, you're not going to want to use it. So look, and when you're trying to invest in your health, make sure you have all these little things. There's customers that have had theirs for years and years and absolutely love it, and they want you to have those same experiences that they've had. So look at the Google reviews. Those are by customers for customers. We can't make those up or change those. Where if you go on other companies' websites, you can see they may have reviews. They aren't all real. I can guarantee you that. And so if you're just starting out, I know you get then into kind of that price point where, okay, you don't want to invest just 15, 25, 3,000. Now you want to invest in something that's actually going to last. You know you're getting the benefits, and you know you're going to have support if anything happens. And so then you get down to a couple companies. And one of the big things that really separates Good Health Saunas is having the most up-to-date third-party safety certification and testing, but then having just that local aspect of it. And so, Josh, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. We are about, let's say, 10 minutes into our 1-hour session, and we've gone over a ton of great details of what to look for, what customers have had in their saunas, what they may be looking for if they could do it over again. And we went over the differences between those lower quality units, and then when you get to those higher quality ones, it's kind of boiling down to a couple different ones. And there are a few features that really separate Good Health Saunas, and that's being that lifetime warranty. So that's on everything that does keep it operational, and that's really nice. But it's unlikely you would ever need to use it, and that's the even nicer aspect. And so when you have something with 50 to 100,000 hours of rated runtime on it, it's always nice to have that warranty, but to know it's really never going to get used is one of the more satisfying aspects of knowing you made a good investment. And so having, let's say, a heating element, if that ever goes out, they're all plug and play, but the most likely, and if anything does go wrong, it maybe would be like your air purification unit. That's even simpler as far as just a couple screws, unplug, and replace. And so that's got your lifetime warranty on it. You really don't have to use that daily, maybe once or twice a month. But like I said, if anything does go wrong, that may be your most likely. So Bluetooth stereo system with audiobooks, podcasts. Like I said, the internal control panel is a really nice feature. If I was in here with someone else, and let's say they're maybe just getting started with using a sauna and they don't necessarily want to go up to those higher temperatures, the nice part about having an internal control panel is we can now set our desired temperature. So we can still have it going up to the 165, but if we want to taper it down slowly as we get into our session here, now we can do so. If it was an external control panel, or if I just had it on my phone, I didn't even bring my phone in the sauna today, which I normally do, but for me, it's not something that you want to have every single time you go in the sauna. I like to use it as just some time to kind of unplug, get away from all the screens that we're surrounded by. It's a little different in this term, but still surrounded by so many different screens, and not having your phone in here when you can just have like meditation music, audiobooks, or podcasts going it's one of the most euphoric feelings. So those are all really key, like I said, details to look for, guys. If you have any questions, drop them down in the chat below. Jay, thanks for joining. Hydration is key, guys. We're about 13 minutes in. Goal every time I am in a sauna is I'll always try and bring in like at least a liter and drink that entire liter when I'm in here. I not only will have one when I'm in here, but then I probably already had one throughout the day, if not more. But then I'm probably going to have and try to have another one when I get out too. So staying super, super hydrated, that's going to be really important. And I notice a difference when I'm not as well hydrated. My muscles won't feel as recovered. I may feel a little more stiff or a little sore that next morning, whereas if I'm adequately hydrated, it's almost a euphoric difference from just that recovery overnight. And so that's why I like, again, evening sessions really just allow for that deep, deep REM sleep cycle. I'm falling asleep super quick. I'm getting that much, much needed deep sleep. I'm not tossing and turning. And then I'm just waking up feeling so well rested, a lot more alert, just ready to roll that next day. So those are all key things. Lanning, thanks for joining. We are, again, 15 minutes in. The heart rate's getting into the hundreds. We are starting to get the good sweat going. And so this would be the same as if I were in a traditional sauna, where the first 5, maybe 10 minutes, I'm starting just to get that good sweat. But I'm not going to start profusely sweating until it gets to the point of no return in that traditional sauna, where I almost can't breathe because that air temperature is so hot. I can't stay in it. I'll feel lightheaded. Where a traditional sauna, I won't struggle to catch my breath, which means I won't get lightheaded. I can stay in it a lot longer. I can get more oxygenated blood flow throughout my entire body. So anyone aches, pains, just for me, the muscle relaxation, the muscle recovery, those are all just key benefits that an infrared sauna is really going to take the cake over a traditional sauna. I mean, hands down, any day of the week. And so that's from someone who's used saunas. I mean, traditional hot rock steam rooms, those are all nice, but for just residential daily use, I mean, and if you want to use one at commercial settings, they're still great to go try out, or if you don't have access to having one in your home, you can still use it, but you want to make sure it's a good quality one. And that's the whole reason we do the lives, guys, is just to kind of show you what a true infrared sauna session can look like. You see a lot of just advertising and marketing out there and paid influencers that will throw it up in this corner of their room where it almost looks just out of place, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just going up for the video. It's not something that they're actually going to use and haven't been dealing with, like I said, hands-on every day of their life for the past 5 years. So when you're truly looking to invest in your health, look beyond just fancy advertising and marketing. And that's something that we, again, try and do, but should do better of, as far as just the social influencers out there that they promote the products that just get sent to them. They're, again, not looking at it as a health tool. They're looking at it as something that is just going to get them their next freebie product or maybe their next paycheck. And so looking at it as an investment is definitely a key aspect. We've been in for about 20 minutes now, and the unit's up to about 140, and so that's something that you're not going to see from a lot of those lower quality units. They may have already capped out at like the 130. It may take forever to get up to those higher temperatures. And so we got one question is, what role do electrolytes play in recovery? And do you have any top picks? I personally have and think electrolytes play a big role in recovery. As far as the scientific aspect, I wish I had a little bit more knowledge on that. I know, like, my coworker Jordan, and like, he's master's degree in sports science, but his knowledge with that would be far superior on mine. But from what I do know, electrolytes really aid in your overall just recovery aspect during the sauna. But when you're using electrolytes, I think for me, what I feel is my muscles are more hydrated, so I'm not as stiff, I'm not as sore, I won't cramp up as easy, I can lift more weight, I won't get as fatigued as easily, I'll have more energy throughout the day. Um, and so using a sauna, but not only that, but compounding it with staying hydrated are really just the key aspects of that. So electrolytes, again, they're just a tool. Where it's the same thing with the sauna. It's little by little, you're having a healthier lifestyle. And I didn't just wake up one day and was like, I'm gonna be a sauna freak. It was slowly over time I realized how good it makes you feel consistently using one. There were streaks where when I first started, I maybe used it like once, twice a month. I'd go in streaks where I wouldn't use it for a couple weeks. And then I realized how good consistency felt, where when I was able to use it 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week and just stayed on it, whether that was gym, sauna, ice, staying hydrated, electrolytes, eating better, sleeping better, all those little things, they compounded one on one. And so that is really the key aspect of the sauna. We have so many people who have used the sauna as part of their weight loss journey, so burning those unwanted calories, getting that passive cardiovascular workout. Like I said, anyone with just arthritis, aches, pains, injury recovery is huge. If you're having, knee, hips, shoulders, anything where your body may need that little extra natural recovery mode, that's where you're going to see the infrared sauna do a lot of the heavy lifting. And you'll see, especially in today's day and age, there's so many ways. And shout out my cousin who posted about it, saying there's a shot for everything nowadays, but the only shot there isn't something for is just hard work and dedication. And you're still not going to get anywhere without having just that dedication and hard work. And it even takes discipline to take those shots and stay committed to that. It's a lot easier when you're getting that instant gratification. And that's something where we've really lost ourselves in society with that instant gratification. And the sauna is more that natural recovery mode, and having the ability to just pull out the heavy metals, the toxins, the carcinogens naturally compared to pump more in is going to pay dividends in the long run. And that's something I will preach until I'm blue in the face. You may not be able to see it now, you may not see it 5 years, but I think 10, 20 years down the road, you're going to see a lot more benefit and kind of weight go into the natural holistic healing compared to just the shots and the peptides and all of the crazy stuff that you can see out there, where it looks nice, it sounds nice, it's quick, it's easy, but what's the long-term effect? And I think we'll see that a lot more, like I said, with the years and time to come, especially in the infrared sauna industry, where so many companies have popped up throughout the years. And with Good Health Saunas, 20 plus years of business, they've seen companies come, they've seen companies go. If you guys could answer our phones for a day, you'd be shocked at how many other sauna companies or how many other customers call us with saunas from other companies that are just looking to get a hold of someone because they can't get a hold of the manufacturer. It went out of business. They're looking for someone that is just anyone to try and fix their sauna. So they may have only had it 3, 4, 5, 6 years, but when you're looking at something as a long-term health tool, you want to know it's obviously a good investment in your health and you made the right choice. And like I said, you can see that in our reviews and just our online reputation. The Better Business Bureau is a great source. But we're about 25 minutes in. Heart rate's up in the hundreds now. The sweat is all over profusely from the entirety of my body. And so even on like the tops of my feet, there's little beads on my thighs, all over my arms, my hands. And compared to that traditional sauna where it would almost feel like my head's in a hot balloon, I'd really just be sweating from, like I said, my head, my armpits, where a lot of the sweat glands normally are, just from your body quickly trying to cool itself off from a shock-like state. Whereas now the infrared, it can naturally heat my body up, and it's a slow, more therapeutic heat because it's actually getting down to that cellular level. So that's why it's opening up all the pores on my body. It's gradually heating it up, so it can slowly open the pores, can slowly vasodilate the blood vessels, get more of that oxygenated blood flow, have those activated water molecules attached to the heavy metals, the toxins, the carcinogens, then naturally pull them out throughout the skin. Same thing when you are sweating, you get a lot of the natural endorphins, serotonins, dopamine, so helping that just irregularities as far as seasonal depression, but even like I said in those summer months where sweating year round, it helps regulate your body to those stressors, and whether that's work, relationship, life, home, when you're putting your body in a mild stress-like state, when you are dealing with everyday stress, it's not going to feel as much. You're going to be able to deal with it a lot easier, overcome the adversity, and just feel a lot better throughout the whole process naturally. And 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in is when the talking normally starts to get a little quieter, but we've had fun so far, as always. It's been a good talk. Not a lot of questions, but I've seen a lot of people joining, so that's always good. Hopefully you guys stuck around and got some good info throughout it. We still have some time in, but as you guys can see, the sweat is coming profusely throughout the body. I had the towel and I had my feet on that floor heater for a while, but now that we're starting to sweat, the sweat's going down my calves onto my heels. I'm going to kick that towel out. It's just going to cover that floor heater for the most part with my heels, and then any of the sweat dripping down gets on that towel. We can just take the damp towels out when we're done. Wipe down any of the wood on the interior, 3 parts water, 1 part apple cider vinegar. We can always run the air purification unit too. That's pretty much it as far as maintenance, guys. Not having to go out there and chop wood for a wood fire or have to worry about one of my coils going out. It's a nice, easy, low maintenance to no maintenance way to recover, feel better, detox, sleep better in your own home. So that's probably why you've seen it pop up on your feed. If you've heard about it from a friend or a family member, or just like I said, seen it, it's one of the smartest investments that you can make in your overall health. And KM, what temperature do you go up to? How long are your sessions? Great question, KM. So we go up to 165. I mean, this is an infrared sauna, so that's probably comparable to like a 180, 200 degree traditional sauna. It's raising that core temperature, and I'll typically go for about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less depending the day, but 45 minutes is typically the sweet spot. Do you use saunas a lot, Cam, or where you tuning in from? Jan, thanks for joining. Brody, thanks for joining. K9, thanks for joining. We're in a Good Health Saunas hybrid series, so we've been in for about 27 minutes right now. Dripping sweat. We've got the Bluetooth speakers. We don't have them running, but we also have the 7 different light color settings, so we can have it on a cycle mode, so it can gradually transition through all the different colors. And KM, I have a red light sauna. Every day I use yours. That's great. That's good you use it. For 45 minutes up to 165. Pat, PA Friedman, had mine over 2 years. Love it. 165, 45 to 50 minutes. That's it. Do you have a Good Health Saunas? And sounds like you got it a couple years ago. Where'd you get it at? If you did get a Good Health Saunas, like I said, was it at our store? We have 3 brick and mortar locations, 1 up in the Mall of America. If you guys are traveling up to the mall or the Minnesota Twin City areas, we have our Mall of America location on the 3rd floor. I know the summer is very popular for a lot of different activities, events. I mean, track, wrestling, cheerleading, pageants, all the above go on in Minnesota. So if you guys are in the area, stop out to our Mall of America location, take a look at all of our units, talk with one of our guys or gals up there. They are phenomenal, and we're more than happy to see if we have the right infrared sauna for you. And same thing if you're in like the Appleton area in Wisconsin, or down here in Love. Mine had it for 6 months, or down here in the Waukesha area, stop out, say hi to myself or any of my great coworkers. And KM says he's had his for 6 months, absolutely loves it. PA says yes, Good Health Saunas, State Fair in Wisconsin. Sister got one after she saw his. That's awesome. See, and that's how we were talking about, guys. Once you see it from a friend or family, KM also got it from Wisconsin State Fair from you. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. So, Wisconsin being the home state, if you guys don't know, born and raised, went to school here, and absolutely love Wisconsin, and especially our Wisconsin State Fair. I mean, we've been one of the main sponsors of that for probably 15, 20 years. So love going to the State Fair, seeing, hearing from all you guys, and that's something where we can't make it up. That's what we see and hear all day long. If you guys hung out in the booth as long as we did, you would hear from customers all day long about how good it is, how it's one of the best investments they made. They use it almost every single day. So if you're curious about it, especially in the southeastern Wisconsin area, stop out to our store here in Waukesha. If you're up north, we have our Appleton location, or if you're out in Minnesota, Mall of America has our brick and mortar location as well. Love seeing you guys have your Good Health Saunas, use them, and get the benefits. That's one of the most rewarding parts for me. And obviously it's a job, it's something that I do every single day, but having the ability to still put my head down, especially after a long live session like this, knowing that there are customers that absolutely love theirs, they get a ton of benefits, and they've had it and just wouldn't trade it for the world, is, like I said, one of the best things ever. So Kayan, thanks, that's awesome. Love to hear it. Stop by this year at the State Fair and say hi. We love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, you guys should drop down a Google review, leave us 5 stars, maybe post a picture of the space too. We love seeing and hearing from customers. And then if we see it come through, I'll get a little swag bag sent out, a little goodie bag from our main office here too. So thanks for letting us know, guys. Like I said, we love it, love to see it. I am absolutely sweating, guys. Heart rate is up in the 114s. So when you're only about, like I said, what are we, 30 minutes in right now? I did use the sauna briefly this morning at Lifetime when I was working out, but only briefly. It was a little cold, my back was a little sore, but I will say that high abrasive heat is so different than a much less abrasive infrared heat. I'm sweating as much, if not more. The towels are just as drenched, but I'm not having to shorten my breath. I'm not worrying about drying out my nose, my eyes. I've been able to talk to you guys and hear from so many customers who love their saunas, but that's just a few big things where people use traditional saunas at the gym. They maybe have only experienced a traditional sauna or a steam room, where if you're like me, the first time ever when you open the steam room door, you walk in and you think it's like broken because that steam is just like burning your eyes. You can't see more than a couple feet in front of you. And so you're like, this can't be good for me. When you realize that's the steam room effect, you're not really sweating. The steam is creating a shell around your body to naturally stop yourself from sweating. So you may feel like you are sweating, but Alexis is knocking our camera around but you're not actually getting that deep sweat. So Massage lady, thanks for joining. Phil, thanks for joining. We're deep in a session here, guys. We're 33 minutes in. The heart rate's up there. As you can see, we are dripping sweat. Got that nice glow, glistening all over the body. And again, the detoxing sweat is a lot different than like a traditional sauna. That's going to be just more water. My body's rapidly trying to cool itself off as quick as possible. How does it do that? It takes the water molecules, takes that warmer water molecules and pushes them out. The less water that it has in its body, the less likely the water is to get heated up. That's worth cooling yourself down. So when you are looking for more of that deeper cellular repair, that detox, reducing inflammation, pushing out arthritis, the infrared heat is going to have and provide a lot more benefits for the long term than just that spike and kind of that short term hit of a traditional sauna or steam room. And so you're still getting benefits any which way you cut it. Like I said, I did use the traditional sauna this morning, but I'm still going to use the infrared sauna at night just because of how good it's going to make me sleep. Tara, thanks for joining. Welcome. We are about 35 minutes into the session here, so you caught us deep on a rant about traditional saunas. And with the traditional saunas, that's short, abrasive, high hit of the air temperature. Again, you're still sweating, so you're still getting some benefits. But anyone, like I said, with like a heart condition, blood pressure, you're gonna notice and feel a lot different using an infrared sauna. And so I was saying earlier, when I walked into the steam room for the first time, I almost thought it was broken just because I couldn't see in front of my face. That hot steam was burning my eyes, burning my mouth, my nose. I was covering my throat with my towel just because I couldn't breathe. And in an infrared sauna, you're not going to notice any of that. So let's say your significant other has been hesitant on you getting a sauna forever, and it's something that you've thought about and always wanted, and you've never really thought about infrared or haven't heard of it, haven't looked into it because you heard it didn't get as hot. Make sure you're looking at what type of sauna it is. The brands matter. Not all infrared saunas are created equal. If you watch the live back, you'll go and see a lot of things we went over tonight were from customers that have had theirs already, and if they could do it again, this is what they would do. And those are all the things that we really have noticed, and with especially the hybrid series and even our signature series have tried to overcome with making sure it's a rock solid, bulletproof sauna that's the safest, the most well-built, well-designed on the market. So we always love going through our sauna sessions here with you guys and showing you what it can look like from a live vantage point. This is not something that we really pre-script or pre-create, just because when you guys jump in here and ask questions, it's hard to kind of obviously create a narrative around the live questions. So we love doing these and showing you from a, like I said, authentic, just transparent standpoint from what a true sauna session can look like, because most people have never seen one from start to finish. And from, like I said, people who deal with these units hands-on every single day, there are a bunch of key details that will really add up in the long run in your investment. And that's something that I do feel like people really, some people genuinely pride themselves on the investments. There are people that are just looking for the lowest priced, most economical model. But in today's day and age, just like everything, there is going to be a wide range of pricing. From the headphones you get online to the phones in your pocket, the laptops, the TVs, everything has certain price points. And so when you are looking, and I encourage everyone to ask themselves, when you are making an investment, are you the type that would rather have the lower entry level cost, or maybe a little higher entry level cost, but the lower long-term lost by not having a high quality infrared sauna. That short-term quick hit, use an infrared sauna. A low quality one, use a traditional sauna, use it for 15-20 minutes, use the peptide, use kind of the more unnatural way about it, or use kind of the holistic, deeper kind of cellular detox, that more kind of holistic, for lack of a better word, approach. And so that's something that I feel like I said, you're going to notice is going to come to fruition pretty heavily here in the upcoming years. And we try and get ahead of the curve and try and, like I said, show you guys what is truly out there compared to just going and kicking into the algorithm who's gonna pay the most and get the most clicks. But here nor there, we're about 40 minutes in, heart rate's in the 120s, and this is what we would like to call the struggle bus. Get your tickets, get your bus emojis out in the chat if you're in there. The struggle bus is real, but the struggle bus is a great place to be. Because, like I said, heart rate's up in the 130s. Oh, where'd it go? 130s, where that traditional sauna and steam room is still going to get me that same heart rate, roughly the same amount of time, but I would have noticed it's drying out my hair a lot more. I would have been pushing it a lot harder to stay in for just as long, if not a few minutes less. And so you'll notice why, like, fire stations, pro athletes, Olympic athletes, they're all leaning towards infrared. Ben, what's up? I know Ben has a corner hybrid as well. He loves his. But the pro athletes, the Olympic athletes, the fire stations, they're all leaning towards infrared just because of how beneficial it is from the detoxifying cellular standpoint. Now, does it make sense that you have a hot rock furnace that heats the air temperature up and the air temperature heats my body and I sweat? That makes sense to people. That's why the traditional sauna has been around for so long. Whereas the infrared heat, it's a little bit more of a foreign concept. Ben loves his sauna, and his girlfriend does as well. Love to hear that. But with the infrared, people may have not heard of it, or I've noticed just in my time in the industry, there have been a shift from questions asked to things and features that people are looking for. And so when you're jumping into it from right out of the gate, you may get caught with, like I said, that $1,500-$2,500 price point build that looks good, has all the features that you're looking for. But when you do a little deeper dive, and especially in this industry, you're going to notice there's a lot of details that aren't necessarily covered in just that one-page printout that's on the website, or just that one quick Facebook ad that you saw. Look at all of our videos on our website. You'll see the fire stations we work with, the pro athletes, the Olympic athletes. Those are customers that are truly looking for the most amount of health benefits from the safest, most efficient units out there. And so that's kind of, like I said, why we're exclusive partners with, like, the St. Paul Fire Foundation. We work with Chicago Fire Departments and tons more across the country. So no matter where you guys are at, if you have any questions, drop them down in the chat, click our link, watch any of our videos from all of our platforms, and I think that will wrap up a live session from the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid. If you guys, like I said, have any questions, send them our way. Direct message us, private message us, tips, tricks you guys like to use, any ideas you guys want us to try. Other than that, keep sweating. Peace.